This is Open Mind Alexander Technique. I'm Jess. Today we're looking at walking in heels. Now, this is not specifically a heels technique class or video. You should go and work with someone who dances in heels for a living to work with that. They're really excellent at it. I highly recommend it. I have done some of that. This is looking at how does Alexander Technique inform our ability to walk and be comfortable in tall shoes like heels. So last week I did a video on just standing in heels and what that has to do with balance, how that lines up with these principles that we're already using for when you're not wearing heels, when your feet are flat, how can you allow this same relationship to be present, where I've got this connection from my head, neck, all the way down to the bottom of my torso, which is at the bottom of my pelvis. That's still there. It's still present. My freedom of my legs is what allows me to walk. So what does that actually look like? It's just sending my knees forward. Knee forward. I travel in space. My head is still going in a forward rotation and up trend, right? And remember that because we know where the spine goes up to the ears, that forward rotation here, in order to not pull my head back and down, that rotation is still present, and that's what leads us up and over to be able to walk. I'm not trying to line up my feet tightrope walking. That's more of a model walk. It might look a little bit more like this. And that really gets your hips involved. So why do they do that? Because it gets this hourglass figure really consistently. And so it's just an aesthetic choice. If I'm walking in a way that makes me line up my heels like I'm on a tightrope, sometimes they might even crisscross and go fully to the side. And so they're actually walking like this. That gives me an hourglass shape because this is used by models and dancers who need to have that aesthetic preference going at all times. I find that a little bit less comfortable because it requires a lot of movement in my hips. If I'm just sending my knees forward and my head up and over, I'm just able to walk. The heel is going to hit the floor first, but not by a ton. You don't want it to be way sticking out front, because first of all, it'll break your shoes, or break your ankle, and that's just not efficient walking anyway. I don't want you doing that in sneakers, because that would require kicking your foot way out front and having a lot of tension on the front of the leg in order to flex the foot like that, this way. This is a pull here. That's what sticks the heel out. That's not efficient whether you're barefoot or in 6-inch heels. Stability in heels comes from the same exact organization that we have when we're flat. I'm demonstrating a squat right now because this actually for me is more comfortable in heels than flat-footed, because I can't have my heels all the way to the ground when I squat. When I do a low squat, my heels don't touch. Well, I have more stability now because I still have the contact with the actual heel of the shoe on the ground. This relationship in my head and my torso has not changed. So this is where that freedom of movement allows ease. That ease is what gives us comfort and stability and balance. So what I recommend you try is next time you wear tall shoes, or even if you're not a person who wears tall shoes, next time you watch someone who wears tall shoes, get curious. How are they organizing themselves? How are you organizing yourself? And how is that actually the same no matter what shoes you're wearing?